Hi you guys, welcome back to the nature with me again today. It's just such calmness, it's so beautiful, it's amazing, the serenity. What I want to share with you guys today is a toolkit for the rest of this year. It is not limited to this year, it's something that is important for, our whole lives. But it's really something to come back to in the months coming. And I will share with you a metaphor for these months that we are moving into from the Blue Beings that I channeled, that I was given today. I've been sitting with them the whole day. And I have been a bit back and forth about doing this video. And the reason why is that once someone starts talking about it, oh, now something is going to happen, or there's going to be a more intense period, or whatever it is that we might say, that in and of itself can start bringing the focus to, or the curiosity what, and trying to predict and trying to, go into a rabbit hole that might not be helpful. And so I don't want to feed that. Yet I think having a toolkit of what to come back to and what is important to focus on when we are in some sort of intensity or, triggered situation in our lives or whatever it might be. I think that can be very helpful. So I want to share this with you guys. The metaphor they gave me was, can you look at the remaining of this year as an internship? And what does that mean? That means that you're going into a new situation and you already know a lot. You have practiced, you have studied, you know a lot about it. It's not new to you, okay? What you're going to do, what you are, like the situations you're going to be in are new, but it's not new. It's something you know a lot about. Now, you're also going to learn, because there's going to be a new setting, a new level maybe to what you already know. There are going to be new situations where you have to apply, or you're being asked to apply what you have trained for. Okay? So can you bring that with you in whatever you meet in your life? That you already know this, you've already trained for it, it's a new situation, you might need to apply it in a bit of a different way. It might be, wrapped in a new way. It might be in a situation where some things make completely sense and it's like, this is just what I read in that book or what I practiced, a couple of weeks ago. And there might be some things where you have to use a bit of a discernment. Maybe this is really not, the way to do it. Maybe there's another way. Maybe this is not the best to learn from. Maybe this. Maybe I'm going to trust myself a bit more. All of these things, just like you would do in an internship. You're not new to this. Let that be an anchor in whatever presents itself in your life. Safety, which is something we all search for, we all need, we all want, because then we can just relax, we can just be ourselves. That safety is within. When you're not afraid of your thoughts, your emotions, when you can be with and meet anything inside of you, you have a safety within, which makes it so that you feel much more safe in the world as well. Because any trigger in the external world will not have that same impact when you're not afraid to be with you. And so, the toolkit that you can come back to, and if this is helpful for you, when you listen to this video, you can save the video and you can come back to it as a reminder when you are in some sort of a situation that feels chaotic, confusing, triggering, some situation in your life that you feel is challenging to you. The first tool is presence. Can you be present? Can you, in the situation, breathe, come into your body and be present? Can you be present to whatever thought arises? Can you be present to whatever emotion is moving in your body? And remember that you are not it, because that presence knows that it's not it. That presence is not afraid. It just is. Everything just is. So can you bring yourself back to presence, not into worry about something, not into the confusion, not into any fear? Can you just come back to presence? Tool 1. Number 2 is acceptance. Can you accept what is? This can be very challenging. In my own life, I find this so easy in some settings and so almost impossible in others, which I think is something that goes for all of us. But when we are standing in this internship and we are in a new situation and we're like, but this is not how it was, outlined to me. This is not how I learned that it was going to be. This is not the same. Can you accept that it's different? Because if we don't accept what is, it won't move either. We will be in resistance to it, and we will not allow anything of what is coming up in us to move. And we want everything to move within us. So presence and acceptance. The third tool is being the observer. And this is a part of presence as well. So that could have been the same tool, but I really want to make it very, very clear. So I chose to make that as an individual one. So can you be the observer? Can you remember that you're not your thought, you're not your emotion, you're not the external situation? You are not everything that is happening. You are the awareness watching it all. Can you take a step back and can you, in that acceptance, in that presence, observe it all? That is a very helpful tool when things are feeling intense, when there's a lot of emotions, a lot of opinions maybe, a lot of distractions. Can you observe your thoughts? Can you observe your emotions? Can you observe the movement in the world without being in it? Can you just come back to that presence, observe? Number 4, ground into the body. This is super important. Everything opens from the body. From being inside this body, everything opens. Whether that is, connection to the galactics, or whether that is opening new abilities within the body, or whether it is a deeper connection to another person. It all comes from being in the body, grounded into the body, being embodied. The sensitivity, everything comes from being in the body. We are also much stronger in meeting anything outside of us when we are in the body. So easy to try to get out or distract ourselves, or whatever, to just not be in it because it's too much, it's too intense, it's too uncomfortable. But can you be in the body? Can you remember to ground yourself in the body and using this as your anchor? Being safe within your body. That is your center, can you bring your body to the nature, to ground in? Can you choose to come back, to be present in your body? And just breathe, finding your breath, coming back in, and choosing again and again to be grounded into your body. Number 5 is allowance. Now there was a dragonfly just passing right behind the camera. And dragonflies, as we know, are messengers of transformation, which everything really is about. It's alchemy, it's transformation. So number 5 is allowance. Can you allow whatever is? Can you allow that super uncomfortable emotion to be in your body without creating a story or a narrative about it? Because that's when we hold on to it, we grab onto it, and it will stay for a much longer time. Or we try to run away from it and shift it and change it, and we're not really just allowing it to be so that it can just disappear by itself. It will evaporate, it will dissolve, it will move, because an emotion is an energy in motion if we don't grab onto it and stop it from moving. So can you allow your emotion, can you allow whatever thought is appearing in your head to just appear, and then remember that I'm not it, so it can just, keep floating, it can just keep moving away instead of holding on and grabbing. Can you allow other people to be who they are? Just as they are, with their behaviors, with their thoughts, with their opinions. So often we really seek to change someone outside of ourselves because they make us uncomfortable, or they make us feel that we can't be who we are, or they trigger something in us, or if they would just see something in a different way, this world would be a more safe place and everything would be different. All of these things. Can you just allow people to be who they are? Because when we're judging opinions, even the manipulation and the corruption and all, everything going on in this world, that is really, really like things we really don't want to accept, things we don't want to allow, things we don't want to be in our world. It is not about, the allowance is not about saying that it's okay and I want more of this and this is just how I want it to be. But can you allow anything to be just as it is right now? Just accept it, allow it. So that you don't attach to it and create that narrative and story and keep circling around it, because then you will end up just feeding it. The more you can just let go, accept, allow, observe, be that calm presence in the storm, the more you will also affect anything and everyone around you. Because that frequency, when you're really present, when you're calm, when you're centered in your body, embodied, when your light is filling your body, is beaming out of your eyes, and you're standing in the midst of the chaos, not fighting it, not trying to change it, not trying to change others' opinions or perspectives. You don't have to like what's going on, not at all. But can you be present? Can you just allow whatever is at the moment and stand in it with that frequency as much as you can? Because that will change things. That frequency shifts. It's a bit like if you're coming into nature. right? And um, your body is just in that frequency, which is in the nature, which is in harmony. And if, like for example, when I come into the nature, if I'm a bit imbalanced and I don't feel, there's stuff going on, and there are, I'm confused and I'm a bit stressed, and I'm coming into nature and I just breathe and I sink into my body and I let my field and my body just be open, just to interact and take in the frequency in the nature. It helps my whole system to balance. Can you be that point as much as you can? We can't always, don't judge that. But this is why it's a toolkit while we're going into this internship. It's because it can help us for not falling into something and being stuck in it too long, because we have some tools that can remind us to be that calmness, to be that center point, first and foremost for ourselves, and then we will also be it for others. How far have I come? Number 6, radical responsibility. It's very easy, and we've all been there, and we're probably most of us are probably there in some situations still. We want to blame something on someone or a situation or whatever happened in our life or a trauma or anything, and that is really being in a victim state. If we blame something and we have that pattern of like blaming someone, but this person did this thing again, and so now I'm feeling like that, or this situation happened again and I don't know, I can't do anything with it, it's just how my family has always experienced something, or it's just what happens to people like me, or now I can't do this thing I want because whatever system is doing this thing and have these rules, and whatever it is that we blame on someone, even though it might be what appears to happen, can take radical responsibility of your emotions, your thoughts, your reaction to it, and your response. Can you be responsible? Can you take accountability for how you show up in the world, for the emotions, for the thoughts? Because you actually can, when you remember that you are not your thoughts and not your emotions. You are not your behavior. You may screw something up completely, like, make a huge mistake in an interaction. But you can learn from it. Whether it's someone outside of you or it is yourself. Do you want to spiral around in that blame, or do you want to take responsibility so that things can actually change? That's empowerment. The last point, the 7th point that I have, is conscious choice. From that present state, from the acceptance, the allowance, from being in the body, from observing it all, from a point of accountability and responsibility, can you make a conscious choice on how you want to engage with the world, how you want to interact, what you want to do in your life, how you want to show up for yourself and for others in any situation that comes up? Can you take a step back, check yourself with these tools, these points, and can you make a conscious choice? Because that's the power you have. No matter what situation you are in, you can always make a conscious choice as to how to be in it. You might not have chosen the situation or the circumstance. And this is what is challenging. This is why we're still practicing on a new level. This is why we're doing something that we already know how to do. We have practiced it, we have studied it, we have learned it. But now we're going to apply it in a new situation, in a new environment, and we're going to learn more, remembering that we actually do know. So can you make conscious choices? As good as you can, from what you know, from where you're at, and can you accept that? And all of this goes both for whatever is happening outside and also for anything going on inside. We're all making mistakes, we're all learning, we're all developing, we're all super aware in some area, and then we are completely blind to ourselves in some areas. You know, with the point of grounding into the body, I want to give you guys an example of an experience I had in my life, so that you can get an example of the transformation and the shift that can happen in it. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I have been through many years of healing in my life. And when I was in that, it was in the last part of it. There was this day that it felt like a huge setback. I was in so much physical pain. I couldn't do anything. I was laying straight out on my bed, and I couldn't think even, because the pain was so incredibly intense. I found myself wanting to distract myself. I just didn't want to be in it. And yet I knew from experience that there's nothing else to do than just being in it. It's going to change. It's not going to last forever. It sucks. It's freaking painful. But it is what it is right now. That acceptance, right? I tried to, just listen to a podcast. I tried to, focus my thoughts on something else. I tried, anything to just get away from it. And then suddenly I had that awareness laying there that I just have to breathe. Nothing else. Just breathe and choose to be in the areas of my body that is experiencing this pain right now. I won't die. It will be very uncomfortable, but there's really nothing else to do right now. That was what I was thinking. And so I started breathing. I just sank into it, and I felt so much resistance. And then, as I was observing this all, remembering that the pain wasn't who I am, it was just an experience I was moving through, I was thinking and observing that this actually is or watching that resistance, it wasn't really about the pain. Because I thought that I was just afraid of the pain. I didn't want to have that pain again. I didn't want to be in that much agony. But that wasn't what it really was about. When I continued just being present, just being in my body, just breathing, just being in the area and giving space in the area that was painful. And I was sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. I had all those, just being with the resistance, just having that presence. The thoughts and beliefs started coming up from deeper and deeper layers. And in the end, I realized that it wasn't at all the pain that I was afraid of. I was afraid of my own judgment, my own inner critic. Because the pattern I was in was to always, whenever something would get worse or pain would increase or there would be anything, my inner critic would start to try to find out why, where had I done something wrong so that this was happening to me. Where did I mess up? Always looking for my own mistakes in order to correct them. That self-judgment and self-criticism was much, much worse than the physical pain. And that was really what my fear was about. And when I had that realization, the pain started moving. It started dissolving. It started, becoming better. And the next day it was better. And that was one of those really deep turning points on my healing journey. And it came from that presence. So no matter whether it is something really awesome or it's something really challenging, that is the greatest tool for alchemy and transformation. It's the same as if you're in, you're just creating something, you're in that spark, that joy, you're so inspired, you're doing what you love to do and you're just fully immersed in it. The feeling of that, when time is just, time doesn't exist. It's like, it's gone like this. That is presence. That's allowance. That's acceptance. And we know how that feels. We know how that alignment is. And our task is to practice the same when we are in something we don't want to be in. And just see if there's something more they want to add. Remember that the body is the gateway. The body is always the gateway. Come in, be present, choose to be in the body. And remember that that's where your safety is as well. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. Presence, acceptance, being the observer, ground into the body, allowance, radical responsibility, and conscious choice. Bring that with you. And, as well with the conscious choice, if you want to dive into a rabbit hole, dive into it. If you find out you don't want to be in it, as long as you are present and you're observing and you make a conscious choice, you can opt out of it. If you are not being present, not observing, not being aware, you can be drawn into any kind of distraction, any fear, all confusion, cognitive dissonance, anything, and you're just like losing track of everything. If you suddenly find yourself in that, use these tools to come back to you. I hope this is helpful. Please share if it helps you. I would love to hear your comments on it, your experience with it. Any questions, please put it in the comment section. And thank you to everyone subscribing and liking the videos. It really helps to get the videos out. Wish you a beautiful day. Let's share some. The sun has come out again while we have been chatting, you guys. Isn't it beautiful? So I guess it's time for a little bath for me. And I hope you do something really good for yourself. Taking good care of you, having compassion for others around you. And finding a bit more self-acceptance and taking that responsibility, knowing that that is shifting everything. Lots of love from here. Bye-bye.